the Miss Commish, the one, the only Miss Ellie Harris. How are you, young lady?
I am fine.
Pull that microphone closer to you.
I am fine.
There you go. Can you hear yourself?
Yep.
Okay, good. So here we are at One Nation Network. So Jim came down last week.
He did.
And told us that, hey, Ellie's going to be joining us this week. Like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So now
More
Ellie
the
is joining
merrier.
us.
Absolutely.
I know Linda's already said she's got a few questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this, Wyatt will not be joining us tonight.
Okay. What's going on
Because
with
he
Wyatt?
is watching it too.
Oh, yeah.
No.
He posted it all over Facebook.
Are you
Facebook,
serious?
Yeah. he
Where's
posted
it? Where's it airing at?
What, the
Where in
movie
Burke
theater?
Theater?
Oh, it's at the
Open-
movie theaters. Okay.
Did it open up
Okay.
Wednesday? Or no, it opened up Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
Friday. I do want to see it though.
Okay. Here's I have an issue with remakes.
I don't like scary movies.
It's
now,
not a scary movie.
first of all, I read the book.
right?
Scared the crap out of me. I was a grown woman. Scared the crap out of me because what he did was okay. You know what it's about, right? Because no spoiler alerts here. But okay,
You don't remember the what was it?
What?
The 1980s version?
that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But
with
right,
Tim Curry.
but right,
Yeah.
exactly. But I read the book before the movie came
Right.
out, and in the book, Stephen King, one of my favorite authors, actually referenced the Atlanta child murders
Mhm.
with these, and that's what freaked me out because my son was born
Well, that's what
at
it was
the time
based
that
off,
was
basically.
kind of sort of
Right,
yeah. So that why
Maybe
it's freaked me
Stephen
out.
King had something to do with it.
I don't think so. That's my boy.
He's a creepy son bitch.
He really is. I love all his books, all his movies.
He's creepy.
Yeah.
And we're broadcasting on YouTube. Right there at the top, you can like us on YouTube and Facebook. You can go to YouTube at One Nation or One Universal Production, and on Facebook, One Nation Network TV or One Universal Production. You know, if you notice, I kind of changed the scroll up on the top
You did.
for all the shows
Okay.
because it's too much to type. Hey, go to here
hmm
and go to here.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And I like the way you have that, staggered there, and
Right.
also the scrolling our production company.
Well,
Information there is great.
I started doing that last week with
Okay.
the XFL
Right.
Battlehawks live show
hmm
with Arlington, because it just it gets miserably hot in this studio.
Absolutely.
Everybody's like, "Oh, how do you get all hot? Hey, do you just drop those?" I'm like, "No, that's an actual." I'm not telling anybody anything. It's all. I'm not kayfabing nothing to anybody anymore. They can all kiss my butt. Just saying.
And he's off.
I was tired on the way. That's why
Right.
Linda's like, "You tired?" I'm like,
And tell us why you're tired, because yesterday was actually a very special day.
"Oh, it was my birthday."
It was your birthday.
And then I had a very long day. Oh, we got a card for me?
I told you I had something for you.
Okay.
So I had to hear. I said, Dirty, remind me when we get to the studio. I have something for you. Remind me to sign it because I don't have an ink pen.
Okay. It says, you
So
want
look-
me to read it?
Absolutely, and show it. This is
All
so
right.
cute,
It says,
guys. Look at
our
this.
friendship would make a great movie or a funny blooper reel. Have the kind of birthday your friends will never let you forget. That is true.
Absolutely.
There it is right there.
Absolutely. So.
And that's,
Happy
and that's
birthday.
funny because it's right in the middle
Mhm.
of the movie theater
Yeah.
where I like to sit.
See. And I thought about you guys when you did the DCS show,
Right?
where you were doing the movie reviews.
Yep.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, last night we were talking about movies that made us do certain things to ourselves.
Yeah, we won't discuss that tonight. Okay. All right.
Oh, and there he is, the commish
What's up?
himself
Mr.
of
Commish.
MMWA.
And when we say the commish, guys, we're not talking Michael Chiklis.
No,
from
we're
the
talking
show,
about
the
Jim
commish.
Harris of the MMWA
The
show.
and what does MMWA actually stand for?
There he
For
is,
our
ask him.
listening audience that might not be aware of the MMWA,
Midwest Wrestling Association.
Midwest Wrestling Association.
Yep.
All right, and St. Louis.
Mid-Missouri Wrestling
Huge.
Association, which has been around for 60, 70 years.
Okay.
I've been involved with them for 35 now.
I've been going since I've been 10,
Wow,
so 33 years.
33 years. Yeah,
43 now.
43. The big 43. Now he's old guy now,
That's an
right?
old guy now, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, what you guys don't, what a lot of people
But-
don't realize is that you are actually sitting with 3 of the 5 co-founders of One Universal Production.
Absolutely.
Myself,
Mhm.
Linda, and Jim.
The commish.
Right. So we
Absolutely.
are, and then you have Damien and you have Seabiscuit.
Exactly.
I mean, basically, the way we all came together
Right.
was at Ferguson
USA
Ferguson US
Hot
USA
Talk
Hot
Radio.
Talk Radio.
Absolutely.
Uh,
We will always give them that,
Right.
that shout out.
Right.
we started with the MMWA show, well, the DCS show. We were there, and then me and Jim started doing the MMWA show, and then me and you met for the what's his name?
Wesley Bell.
No, Bill Cosby.
Oh, right.
So that was the one that
Exactly.
kind of kicked up. At that time, we were calling it one.
Actually, we started. So we were still we were still Ferguson.
Right.
Okay. Then we did the Bill Cosby show.
But what did we call the show?
We
were
called
calling
it One Nation Under a
Under
Groove.
a Groove. That's right. One Nation Under
Exactly.
a Groove
One Nation Under a
is
Groove.
what we were calling it.
Exactly.
And then we interviewed Wesley Bell,
Right.
who changed the name of the show. He did a.
He really did.
He
Didn't
really did. He did an interview
Yeah.
on Channel 2.
No, he was actually on 95.5,
Yeah,
the radio station.
95.5 talked about us
Yeah.
and said, well, One Nation.
Right.
So then that's how we changed the name to One Nation Network TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just kind of so we were there,
Right.
and then we had, I had some creative differences.
We won't go there.
By the way, stuff was being done.
He's our child that we had
Right.
straightened out.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Well,
I had a
here's the-
vision.
Here's the thing, though. Sometimes you have to know when it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Right.
You really do.
Yeah.
When you learn how to really embrace change, it really frees you
Right.
to open up and do the things
Right.
that you need to do.
Right. Well,
You
and I
know.
had a vision on how I wanted it,
You really did.
how I wanted Ferguson to look.
Exactly.
But some of the older guards that were there
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't go with the change, so then we came down to the glorious Limp Brewery.
Absolutely.
And now we broadcast One Universal Production studio out of the Limp Brewery.
And just to let you guys know, we're not picking on Ferguson USA Hot Talk
No,
Radio.
no.
Never.
Because I also wanted to check out this studio called Medici
Right.
that
We even
had
went
all
there.
this great, first class accommodations and things
Right.
that we could do.
Right. Because we were getting pumped up to go there.
Yeah, and it was a great place. But the people that actually had space there, apparently, this was their first time actually knowing how to have a business or share space. Seriously,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
because I had somebody that decided he wanted to hum while I was trying to do a
Sing.
broadcast.
Right.
Seriously,
Loudly.
I know, right? Then I was trying to do one in our kitchen area because I was
Right.
really excited about the kitchen with my show being Sunday brunch,
Right.
And they kept walking through, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to go to jail.
Yeah.
But at the very least, with Channel 4 breaking news report, because I pay way too much money.
We'll let her back.
Yes, you have to let her back in because we're gonna get started with Miss Ellie. But yeah, Dirty. So this, even though the aesthetics might not be like they were at Medici, here's why I like coming here. Every time I've been here, never had a problem. All the other people that rent this area with their businesses, they stay to themselves. They mind their own businesses. They're not nosy trying to figure out what we're doing, just crazy stuff.
Right, yeah.
So I really like it down here. I really, really do. We've talked about other places, but it's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, no.
You
So
know.
we've decided to stay. So
Right.
now we have Miss Ellie back to join us. Her nose
Yes.
is running. It gets warm in here, don't it? You ought to see my side of when I'm done. It's just covered in sweat when I'm done. And my belly is already starting to sweat.
It's your birthday, so I'm not going to talk about
It's
you.
your birthday.
It's your
You got the
birthday.
Dunlap disease.
Oh, I do. It's done lapped over big time. My poor wife. Every time she lays on me,
Oh
it
my
smacks
God.
her in the face. It's so done lapped over.
Way TMI.
Right.
TM.
So now
Thank you.
Ellie is
Okay.
here because we talk about some kind of controversial topics.
Really?
We do? You
Okay.
wouldn't say that?
No, I thought we were going to kind of talk about the fact that she and I actually.
Oh.
So what were you talking? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm sure. I had a feeling she was here to express stuff for another person, but maybe not. I don't know. You know what? Listen, I'm tired. I'm gonna let you take over the interview.
Thank
now.
you. You just worked the control booth over there. All right, as he said, we have Miss Ellie over here. Okay, so it was really great when Mr. Harris decided to pop in last Tuesday, and in the midst of,
Yuck.
I'm not sure if it was a break or something, but we were chatting, and so he was telling me about your job experience, and it was amazing because before I retired, I hate to just rub that in, but I'm retired.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Must
It
be nice.
is. Oh my goodness. Pretty much the same type of job. So tell us a little bit about your. I don't know, as much as you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. Maybe from the very first job all the way up to what you're doing now, and how you kind of got there.
Well, my first job is I worked in a fast food because we had 6 kids while they were in school.
Okay.
I worked at a fast food to work around their school hours.
Absolutely.
No weekends, no nights. I moved up in the fast food, and then I decided I had the opportunity to learn how to be a pharmacy tech.
Okay.
So I left the fast food to learn how to be a pharmacy tech. I was in a pharmacy tech for 6 years, and then a good friend of mine, she said, there's an opening in my office for a medical receptionist. Apply. So I applied, and I got hired. So I went in to become a medical receptionist with the pharmacy background. with the
Okay.
meds.
Now, was this at a hospital or was it a private
was,
office?
It is at Mercy Hospital
Okay. Okay.
and the OBGYN.
Uh-huh.
field.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to see the babies?
I don't get to see the babies.
Oh, okay. The reason why I asked is, again, like I said, back in the early 90s, 91 to 95, I worked for a regional medical center. Started off in the, let's see, what do you call it? The insurance billing department. Okay. Then I went from there to the admitting department, which I love because I could work rotating shift. And along with admitting, part of that responsibility was also ER registration and OB registration. Now, unfortunately, this was in the midst of the crack epidemic. So whenever I worked NICU, which was literally right across from where our receptionist desk was, they would ask us, especially if we were working a night shift, if we would hold the babies because they would cry because they were withdrawing from all of the
Correct.
drugs. Exactly. So I love that job just for that reason. Right. Okay. So from there, where did you go?
From there, I learned, they taught me how to do medical records.
Okay.
I helped the triage nurses sometimes with the meds, refilling prescriptions.
Mm-hmm.
I love what I do. I love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a people person. So I do medical medical records plus reschedule the doctors.
Exactly. Okay. And I know because I'm trying to think. Last time I actually worked where I had to schedule. I worked for. Are you familiar with People's Health Center?
Yes.
When Betty Kerr first opened that, I had just had my son, so I stayed off work for a year. My husband worked at General Motors, and when I got back into the work field, I got hired by Betty Kerr to work as a medical receptionist / billing. And it was absolutely fabulous because I actually learned and watched her grow a little neighborhood storefront, sort of like what this is, and turned it into, I think she has 4 or 5 clinics now in the St. Louis area.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
She's now retired and living in Florida. I think her son is running it. And I knew him when he was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think about the medical field now? Is it kind of scary with all the stuff that's going around?
It is. It
Right.
is.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't get me
it's
started.
Very,
Okay.
very much scary.
Right. One of the reasons I decided to get out, as a matter of fact, when I left in 95, I actually went and started selling real estate full time. It was mandatory in 95 for all hospital personnel to take flu shots.
Still is.
And that's why I left. I took 1 flu shot. I was sicker than I've ever been in my life. I've never taken another flu shot since then. Almost all of my family members were religiously taking flu shots. Most of them are on dialysis 3 times a week now.
Yep, it's mandatory that we do flu shots.
Flu shots, hepatitis shots,
TB.
TB.
TDAPs.
Yep.
Yes,
What else is there that they're doing?
that's it.
Okay. Isn't that scary though?
It is.
You don't have to do the
Seriously.
mumps and measles?
I had to show
MMR.
it that I had all that done
Yeah,
before
yeah.
I started.
Right.
Yeah.
At one point, they were saying that if you had measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination years ago, you needed to get another one because just like the chicken pox.
Right, yeah.
Remember-
I had to go get a chickenpox
Well,
shot.
just like the Hep A shots.
Which one?
The Hep A shots.
Oh,
They're
right,
only
exactly.
good for 14 years. People
Right,
didn't
yeah.
know that.
Right.
Yeah,
They're only good
exactly.
for
Well,
14
it's funny
years.
that you say medical field because I
Yep.
work in the medical field.
Yep.
More into the sales side
Mhm.
of the medical field.
Mhm.
They deal with a lot of the insurance.
And the equipment.
and the equipment.
Right.
It's just it's sad how our insurance just screws people over
Exactly.
so bad, and how they don't even care. Like we were talking today,
Mhm.
and now because you're in the medical field, you were in the medical field, I am in
Exactly.
the medical field.
Right.
You know my opinion of what we're getting ready to talk about. I know
Right.
yours, so let's get you somebody who's currently so in Canada. I guess it's legal now for
Assist-
self-assisted
Self-assisted suicide.
euthanasia
Exactly.
for people. So there was a guy with basically ALS.
Mhm.
Canada cut his funding. His home, they gave him what was it, 15 hours.
Mhm.
Then they bumped it up to 20 hours a day. And then for those last 4 hours, he had to pay $256
Per hour.
per hour, just
Per
to cover per day, just to cover those 4 last hours. So he decides he wants assisted suicide, and it basically goes to the doctor and has them killed. Now, my thing is you know, you got a person who's in suffering, but yet we'll do it to our animals, euthanize our animals in suffering. Why could? What is your take on that? I mean, to me, I don't see if the person is in their right mind when they decide that. That's what they want to
Should
do.
be up to that person.
I think
Exactly.
so too.
So, what's your take on it?
It should be up to that person, not anybody else. If that person wants to end the suffering, let them end the suffering.
Right? Because
Why
what was
put your family through it?
Right.
right.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And we were thinking that in the state of Missouri, is it physician assisted? Is that legal here?
That's why they ask you to sign all them papers when you go in.
Mm-hmm.
All the power attorneys and
The DNRs.
the
Do not. Yeah.
DNRs.
Mhm.
Who do you want in charge? Who's going to be your power attorney to speak for you, and all that. That's
Right,
why
yeah.
you should have all that in order before you
Exactly.
go in
Right.
to the hospital.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
Absolutely.
funny that we'll take better care of our animals
Oh yeah.
than we will our own people. Because you watch our show all the time. You know what our show's about.
Mhm.
Like we were talking about it the other day when we've lost our humanity, when we got kids locked in cages and we don't even care about it.
Correct.
Do you notice nobody's talking about that anymore?
No.
We've moved on to something
Because
else.
now we got Donald Trump is
well
main
now
advisor got fired today.
You should always, I feel like this, you should always talk to your kids and your spouse how
Right.
they want. Year and a half ago, me and Jim lost a loved one.
Yeah. I remember that.
And he always said he wanted to be an organ donator.
Mhm.
Right.
So my sister, he wasn't able to.
Right.
So as her and his girlfriend stepped up and said, this is what he wanted.
Right.
This is his wishes. We want to move forward.
Right.
And that's what she
Right.
did. Because you should always sit down. You just never know when
Exactly.
the time's going to come. Car accident or whatever.
Bahamas, hurricanes.
Well, you know,
Come about.
Seriously.
So your loved ones will know your wish and grant
Right.
your wish.
as
Right.
the commish said, he ain't getting on a
Right.
cruise ship because he doesn't want it to flip over.
Right.
I mean, listen,
he's
if
not
he gets on as
interested
big
in
as
the,
he is, he gets
is
on a
so
cruise
bad.
ship, it ain't flipping over.
Whoa. You gonna take that commish?
So I feel you should always talk to your loved ones
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
how they want to be.
And again, definitely a counterpart of our show. Always have that conversation.
Now here's
We
something.
know it's difficult, but
Right.
sometimes, again, you have to have those difficult
Now
conversations.
here's something you might not know.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you and the commish talked about this when we did the Mardi Gras,
Okay.
but they have a biracial grandchild.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that?
Nope. But, oh my God, don't get me started with my pictures now.
Well, see, that's another thing that you guys
Have in common.
have
Right.
in common.
I know, right?
So, Ellie, you've heard our show plenty of times. You have certain individuals that are in certain fields. You like how I phrased that?
I do. I'm trying to
Like
figure
how I
out where he's
phrased that
going.
one?
It's scary when you try to figure out where he's going.
So you've heard me say that it's a shame that in 2019 that a grown man, black man,
Oh,
can't
yeah.
walk out of us. Now I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm not saying all cops are good. Right?
Right.
But what is your take on it?
To me, all lives matter. It doesn't care. I don't care what color you are. You shouldn't socialize on one color. It should be all colors.
Okay, let me address that, please. Yes. Okay.
I'm just saying.
No,
Okay,
because I knew
and
she
you-
would
and
be
you're-
able to talk about it a
and
little
you're
more.
Definitely entitled to your opinion, but I'd like to explain to you why we say Black Lives Matter. Okay. Sure, we know all lives matter, but white kids are not getting killed in the street by the police. Okay. Even the ones that aren't doing anything. Because see, I know that we still have that hesitation that will, but you know, but what were they doing?
I do think they are, but you just don't hear about it as you do the Black lives. I think there's white kids out there getting killed by the police, but it's not televised like the Black lives are.
Do you think, because me and Linda have always said, do you think it's because of the way that they can keep us divided as a
Absolutely.
community?
I believe. I think they're trying to divide it. It should not be divided.
Right.
We should all be one.
Right. Well, let me just say this because I just can't let that just slide with that. All lives matter. I'm sorry. Okay. So even if white kids are getting killed by the police and it's not being televised, their relatives need to make sure that information gets to the
You're
media.
right.
This is why every time I see a shooting involving anybody, because one of the things that Dirty and I have we've talked about since we've been doing this show is once the powers that be see that they can get away with doing something diabolical to one part to a community, and there's no outcry, then they're going to try it with others. Because now you are beginning to see white men, just like we actually
Yeah.
had on our show
Just the other day.
just the other day, where the white guy was, and they sat on this man until he died, and it was a white guy, and he kept saying, "I can't breathe." And sure, there was something going on with drugs, but nobody deserves to die like that. Okay,
You're right.
now when we start seeing 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds. Trayvon Martin was 17
Right
years
now,
old.
and this is a,
Michael Brown, excuse me.
Right.
Michael Brown was 18. Almost on a daily basis, we've got to come out and say, hey, guys, our lives matter too.
Exactly. I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you, but I feel though there's stories behind everybody that's not being told.
But again, so if that's happening in that community, whose obligation is it to get that story out there?
It should be the parent or whoever.
Absolutely, because with social media, I mean, now I actually had a 14-year-old cousin when I was 8 months pregnant with my son that was killed by a white supremacist in the Richmond Heights area back in 1979. Even with that being said, even with that being said, he loves to tell me how old I am, right?
I was 12.
We protested, you know what I'm saying, and we got a lot of stuff accomplished. But sometimes when you see injustice on a regular daily basis, if you don't speak out about it, the powers that be are going to think, oh, okay, they're giving us the green light that it's okay to do this. And like I said, eventually it's going to spread into the Asians, we already know the Latinos, whites, anybody, you know. So at some point, you said something dirty, and I go back to this. We talked about it last Tuesday when Jim was here. You said this like a couple weeks ago. You said, and he said it with so much passion, and it's the truth. We as a society, we have lost our humanity. How can we as grandparents sit back and see kids that are trying to get away from a situation? And for those of you that listen to my Patreon page, you know, a lot of the situations that they're running from in Nicaragua, all Central America, we created those situations, you know, with all that drug stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we have to say stop. But even our Democratic leaders they're not saying anything.
Well, see, this is why I brought all of this up.
I know you did.
Both have no. Here's the reason why I'm going to tell you, because you, like I said, you both have biracial grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 6 kids. Guess what? They're all white. So I don't have to deal with.
But you're probably going to have a biracial one
real
soon.
It doesn't matter if you have all white kids.
But here,
would you? How? It's
hold on.
Let
me explain how I'm going to explain it.
What she dates.
I don't care. That's the problem. Is I just don't care.
But okay, go ahead, because I think I know where you're going.
Why I have explained it, because I didn't have to teach
right
my kids a certain way that you guys have to teach your children. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to tell my kids, hey, you don't have to worry about walking out of your house and possibly being shot and killed by either a white supremacist idiot or a
Right.
police officer or whatever for anything.
That's my grandbaby.
Where you guys kind of have to say, hey, so like
I
with what like I said, because I've had Linda talk to us about this.
So I'm gonna shut up and let her say.
Right now, with you, like I said, having people in certain fields, like firefighters and stuff like that. How do you teach your biracial grandson that you raise? How do you teach them? Hey, there's certain things. Like, when do you have that conversation with?
Or do
that
you think
child?
you even need to?
we have that conversation.
Right.
We sit down and talk to him. He knows what's right from wrong, and with
Right.
kids, he can tell the way their body language is or how they act. You always teach your kids how to act in public, how to treat other folks. You don't want to be treated how that kid just treated that kid.
Exactly.
There you go.
So if you treat that kid how you treated that kid, you're going to make a name like that kid did. Would you want that name to stick with you forever and be known like that?
Right. And see, that's the problem. People are not talking to their kids
Right.
like that.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, when you don't talk to your kids like that, and you're sitting at home and you're watching the news and you're making very negative comments
Oh,
about
yeah.
a certain group of, you think your kids are not going to pick up on that?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
then take it right back to school, and then you know what? You know what you are.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I know your guys' grandson.
Right. How old is he?
He's 11.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
he's the same age as my grandbaby.
Yeah. So I mean, I've
Right.
seen him since he's been a baby.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
From going down to
Right.
Broadway. And you guys know my kids. I mean, I know
Right.
there's been plenty of times where my son's been sitting over there with your grandson.
Right.
They're playing on their tablets and all that.
Right.
They'll get out of hand. And I've even seen you yell at my kid, and I'm just like,
Right.
okay.
That's what it's
You
called,
know, and you
the
would,
tribe,
and I
the
mean,
village.
and if I saw your grandson acting up, he'd be like, hey, boy, what you know better. You know?
I always taught my kids as growing up, you represent our house and yourself.
Yep.
How you act outside that house, our house, is going to come back to us. Do you think you act like that around us?
Right.
So why would you go behind our back and act like that?
Right.
You represent the whole family, not just you
Mhm.
when you do something wrong in public.
And that's kind of what you say. But like, where
You mean like that conversation we had this morning?
yeah, where
After
at
the
is a
DCS
society have we lost that as parents?
Because I think I'm not making, I think it's the way their parents were raised by their parents. You get some kids who their parents going out, leave me alone, come back when it's dark. You have to be a parent and
Right.
teach that child, whether you didn't have the decency home life, look how you want to be raised. You don't want to represent that home life you came from. Do better by yourself.
Mhm.
Teach yourself how to be better. And then you can teach your children. That's
Well,
right.
Let me give you guys a totally case in point in what you're just saying. I live over by the airport, Woodson Terrace area. Did I tell you this yesterday? I'm good because with me being retired, I kind of DoorDash, sometimes morning and dinner.
I hear it. I see it.
I know, right? Okay. So I'm going to go pick up an order. I left my house, went around the corner, and there's a 2-year-old, maybe 2, barefoot, diaper, top on, and she's just wandering, heading right to the middle of the street, and there's nobody around, and I'm like, what the? So I pull over, and I want to scare her, and I'm like, hi, sweetie, where are you going? Where are you supposed to be? And so somebody comes running out the house, another kid that apparently was supposed to be watching her. So all of a sudden, it's amazing what the Most High list you see. And here comes the mama with her girlfriend. They out running around. And I just got in my car and left because I'm like, I don't want to go to jail today.
Well,
By telling them, this is your kid. This is your responsibility. What these kids, what I'm seeing now are parents, and I say that with quotation
Loosely.
marks, right? That they have them, and like you said, they raise themselves, and they still believe that their life is about them. No, sweetheart, it's not your life anymore. Not till that kid is 18 years old and maybe hopefully out of your house.
Not even
That's right.
Then you
18.
can get your life back.
we had
I got my life back at 18. Mine had to go. Right. It's either college or, take your ass to work. Right. Well, he actually got a job and he went to college.
We had a young girl. Oh God, Scotty was 4. She come knocking on our door. This was many moons ago. And we had her come knock on the door at 7:30. Can Scott come out and play? I said, no, he's still sleeping. Go on home.
7:30 in the morning.
7:30 in the morning. Go on home. When he gets up, you see him outside. And I always sat outside with my kids,
Yeah,
no matter what.
exactly.
Always where I knew where my kids were.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, 8:30, here comes the detectives and juvenile and the police looking for her, knocking on my door. I said, I sent her on her way at 7:30. Little girl disappeared 9.5 hours.
Did they ever find her?
Yeah, they found her at the mom's boyfriend's house.
Was she raped?
They did not say.
Yeah.
And then 7 hours later, that whole family moved out.
See, that's another. Okay. You're getting ready to get me on the roll. These boyfriends that you see them killing your kids because they don't want to be bothered. The hell are you leaving your kid? Okay, here's my thing. If you have to get a license to drive a car, we need to start licensing you to be a parent. You got to go to class.
Amen.
You've got to go to class. You have to take exams. Okay. Look. And then we're going to follow you that first year of that kid's life.
You going to go castrate all of us?
That's not even the problem. The problem is, I'm like Michael Jackson. If you can't afford a baby, don't have a baby.
Well, you do know how fun that is?
Dirty.
Here's protection.
Okay, but that's the
Thank you.
problem. Is
There's
we're not
IUD.
teaching.
But here's the
we're
sad
not teaching
part.
these kids that.
Dirty, we shouldn't have to. Now, every day, we
like how
now.
this turned into a parenting show.
Yep, it was supposed to.
See?
Here's the thing. Now, before, when I was growing up, they couldn't even show tampon commercials, okay? Now we have ED commercials, women's IUDs, women with their menstruals and all that. Okay.
You got Juul cigarettes back on TV.
We're not going to go talk about that yet. That's a whole nother subject. But you've got them talking about the HIV, the HPV, chlamydia. I mean, this is not a secret.
Number 1 in St. Louis for the STDs.
We always have been.
We always have been.
There was, when my girlfriend who just passed, when her daughter was in 17, as she went to Soledad, the principal told them on the day that she enrolled her daughter, I just want to let you know, because they moved from the county to the city. He said, there is a severe syphilis epidemic in this school. Be very careful. Now, but also remember, but years before that in Atlanta, Georgia, I saw this on PBS. Middle school, they had a breakout of syphilis in the middle. I was still playing with my Barbie dolls at 14 and 15 years of age. I graduated a virgin. I'm very proud to say that, from high school.
3 weeks before my wedding, I was on a curfew still.
See what I'm saying? Exactly.
Hey,
it's lack of parenting.
I was on when you heard a whistle and the street lights come on.
Come on now.
Come home. Our
Right.
kids were too. And our daughter decided one night, her and her girlfriend, they thought they were going to be slick. Made little pillow people.
Uh-huh.
Snuck out the bedroom window. Jim went in there. Nope. The window was up. He called her on her cell phone. Her girlfriend answered. We're up the street at so-and-so's. He says, you got 5 seconds to get home or I'm coming looking for you. That window got nailed shut.
Yeah. But you can't do that now to kids. We can't do that to kids now.
Okay, because see, let me tell
That's abuse.
and can I tell you guys something?
To children.
Now, here's what's funny. Now, of course, now the situation may have changed, but in my day, sneaking out the house? Oh, hell no. You didn't play with my father.
Yeah.
That's an ass whooping from him and an ass whooping from my mom. Okay, exactly.
That's what my mom and dad told me. She goes, go ahead and go. Leave. You got to come back. She goes, and when you come back, your ass whooping's going to be worse than it was if you just stay and take it.
Absolutely.
And then you sat there for a minute, you're like, shit, just might as well get it over with now. But then it got to an age where it didn't really bother me. So then she sat
she wasn't doing it right.
Oh, no.
No, seriously.
Oh, no.
You ain't never had a whooping till you had a whooping from a black mama.
From a switch.
I've had that.
Switch. I got a racquetball racket after my son. He jumped out the window because I was getting ready to tear that ass up.
You get immune to those. Frying pans, you get immune to those. Leather moccasins, you get immune to those. A 52-inch belt, you get immune to that.
We really need to have a conversation about your childhood.
Race car track.
Oh yeah, now that was the Hot Wheels track with my son.
You got immune to that.
I bought it just for that.
You know what was worse? When my mom goes, Set that chair right in front of the window. Remember the old shades? You just pull it, they
Yeah.
fly up.
Right.
She goes, sit your ass right there.
And watch everybody play, and you can't go out.
I cried worse than I'd ever got.
Oh
my ass.
yeah.
See, that's
Oh
the
yeah.
problem
Punishments.
nowadays.
Yeah.
I cried more.
See, you can't punish kids now because they'd rather stay in instead of be out. Because I'm like you, that
Well,
was
no,
one
you
of the
know what you
worst
do
ones
now?
for me.
Our grandson is, you know where he is all the time?
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you know how you
Yep.
do that? So, because like when I was growing up, I was, 15, 16. So I was getting to that age. Spankings really didn't matter to me. Grounding me, I'm like, whatever.
You were still getting spanked at 15?
Oh, shit, my mom beat my ass all the way up until I was probably
Okay, she didn't do something right.
17.
Because I
I'm
think the
telling you.
last one I got was maybe 12 for
I'm
real.
telling you,
Well,
it
I was
didn't- it
like,
just
okay,
didn't do
I'm
anything.
just gonna have to even be a
Well,
lot
listen,
better
when you're
being
the case
slick.
study child for Ritalin, and they got
Oh,
you on
that's
2,500 milligrams a pill, and they're shooting it into your veins. Yeah, getting smacked. You're just like, okay, here,
Oh well, see, you were drugged out. You didn't
let's
even
get
feel
it
it.
over with, so I can get done real quick and go back outside.
Wow.
I remember I told her that one day. I was like, she's like, all right, time, and I'm like, all right, I bent over. I'm like, just get it over with, so I can go back outside and play. She looked at me. She goes, "What'd you just say?" I said, "Just get it over with." I even handed her the Hot Wheel track. I said, "Here."
How old were you, Dirty?
12, 13.
Yeah, that's that age, 13.
I was like, she goes, that's when she took the chair and sat it right there.
Yeah.
She goes, now you sit there. And she goes, now you're going to wait for your dad to get home.
There you go.
But these kids growing up nowadays don't have respect for their parents.
They
Do
sure
you
don't.
hear how some of them talk to their parents?
Right.
Now I tell my kids that's 25, still 26, talk to me like that and see what I do.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I remember, so I was about 15, 16. I had my Sega, and I was acting like an ass. My mom goes, I'm just sitting there, we're screaming and yelling. She's like, you're grounded. I'm like, so what? She goes, go to your room. I'm like, all right. I go to my room. I had a telephone. I had my Sega. I'm just sitting there playing my Sega. Next thing I know, everything goes off.
She turned that light off. Right.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
No, she went to the fuse box.
Exactly. I
I
know what
come
you
out of that
did.
bedroom. I go, hey, why don't I have any power in my bedroom? She's like, oh, you're grounded. Go sit in your room. I'm like, but I ain't got nothing to do. She
Right.
goes, read a book.
With no lights.
Jim did that. He turned the power off, told the kids, you forgot to pay your electric bill.
Yeah, I had a driver the whole room except for one area.
Right.
Yeah. Boy, I was so mad.
I said, turn it down. I ain't turned it down.
Click.
Yeah, I was so mad.
I know, right?
I was so pissed.
I'm just glad I have a cat instead of my son at home with me. He's got his own place. I remember the headaches. Oh my God.
I was so pissed. So, it's like,
Wow.
what, how you going to turn my power off, bitch?
But
And I
that's
said
the
that,
whole
boy,
problem
woo.
nowadays.
You
is
called
the
her
way-
that?
I
Oh, yeah.
under my breath.
You would have been wearing what do they call them? The dental bonds.
I remember
you wouldn't have any teeth.
I was 12, 11, 12.
Can I tell you guys something? And we talked about this before, and I think we might have even talked about this a little when you came by last week, Jim. My mother used to drive us crazy when we were teenagers by going, and again, we're talking in the 70s, so it really wasn't at all the type of violence that you're seeing now,
Right.
but just even the small, see, that's all that stuff they got on TV nowadays, because it was like the pimps and the gangsters and all that stuff. And we used to laugh at her and go, here she goes again, I was sitting up watching a movie on Cinemax the other day, and it was the most, where they're just shooting, and you can see people's heads being blown. And I'm like, this is why everybody is so desensitized to this. Because it's like fun to see a head get blown off. I told you about the time I stopped by my sister's house, and my nephew, who was like maybe 15 at the time, he's up in his little stinky room because, he's got the feet and shoes out and everything, and he's playing Grand
GTA.
Grand Auto.
Theft Auto.
Grand-
Grand Theft Auto.
And he's like, watch this, Linda, I'm gonna run over this prostitute. What? I'm like, are you and I went down to his mother. I said, do you know what he's up there? And she's like, she really did, as long as he's not down here bothering me. And I'm like,
We tell Dominic, you can play certain games, but you better not act upon them.
you can't even play them in my house. See, rap music was not allowed in my house. My son had to sneak to play rap music. I was working a Saturday and got off early and came around the parking lot into the apartment complex, and it was like 10 kids in front of my window doing this. I'm like, what the hell? He's up there with a boombox playing Easy E.
There ain't nothing
I
wrong
said,
with
I'm
Eazy-E.
going to kill you. Thank you.
There's nothing wrong. What? There ain't nothing
Oh,
wrong with
I-
Eazy-E.
I hear this as I come into the parking lot. Suck my.
A couple-
Said, I'm going to hurt you.
It was last week. We live in a neighborhood, not such a good neighborhood. It's rough, not gonna lie. We have prostitutes. We have, where they just don't care who's watching.
Mhm.
We'll just do our thing. And my mouth of the South will go out there and say, not in front of my house.
Exactly.
And he says, it's a job. I said, that's not a job. Get a real job.
Exactly.
So the boys took Dominic to the store. He said, Mama. I said, what? I seen a girl. I said, you seen a girl?
Pull that mic over a little bit.
He goes, yeah, I
There we
seen a
go.
girl. She was working the corner in all her leather. I said, well, maybe she was just out waiting for a friend. He goes, no, that's what you call a hoe.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness. See, they know. You
And
know
it's
what I'm
sad when you have to. Your kids are growing up seeing these out on the street.
Exactly.
And I said, that's not right calling her that. And he goes, well, it is what it is. And I said, well, maybe she didn't have a home life to teach her the proper way to get a job.
And see, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just we've lost our way because of what we have on TV. I mean, hell, I don't know who you voted for. But I mean,
I'm going to really probably piss you guys off with this next statement, okay?
what?
Because, and it's going back to what you were saying about the prostitutes and all this. Here's my thing. It's way too many opportunities out here for you to do anything to make money a legitimate way without having to sell your body. Okay. Now, that being said, I read, because I love to read, James Patterson's book, Jeffrey Epstein, about the Jeffrey Epstein. You guys have got to read this book. This man was horrible.
Well,
But here's the thing. He knew he would recruit young girls at the high school, the local high school, to come in and give him massages for $200 a pop. Now, for $200, all you had to do was give him a massage.
right, yeah.
But if you wanted more money, you had to take your clothes off. That'd get you 3. Then if you let him play with you, that'd get you 4 to 5. Not only were they going back so that they can make more money, and they were going to school bragging about it, they were recruiting other girls for him because that was part of what he was doing. Most of these young ladies came from very nice families. We're not talking in the hood. You're talking about greed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where and laziness, because it's easier for you to go lay in the bed, suck somebody off, do this, and make you a couple $100 than go to a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Yeah. Well, like if you look at it,
It's really
in
sad.
Nevada, where prostitution's legal.
Well, they had to because
those some of them girls. Like I used to watch that Bunny Ranch,
Okay.
the Bunny House on
Mhm.
HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that about the Bunny Ranch? The girls are saying they're making $100,000, $200,000
Oh yeah,
for
easily.
half an hour worth of work on 3 or 4 guys.
But again, you're selling your soul for money.
But what to them,
And
maybe
your
it's
body.
not though.
That's because
They
okay,
weren't
if
taught the proper way.
and most of them, what were we saying about the self-esteem thing?
That's right.
If you loved yourself and you know that you could do anything, you're not going to stoop to just for money. And again, just to show you that it's not about I was poor and I didn't have, so no.
You guys
They-
remember who John Holmes was?
Hold on, sweetie. But yeah, we know who John Holmes is.
Yes.
But anyway, just recently in Atlanta with one of the black sororities, they just arrested them for soliciting men for they were prostituting themselves basically for their association fees to join this sorority.
Oh, they've been
Now,
doing that kind of stuff for years with fraternities and
Can I tell you
sororities.
that just shocked the crap out of me? I had no clue.
Really?
I really
I
had no
didn't either.
clue. Right.
Wow.
Right. I'm like, are you serious? Because see, this particular organization is supposed to be so on board, the Deltas. Oh no, but y'all just hoes. I'm like your grandson. You just a hoe.
Hey, listen.
You
If I was
have
like
to.
John Holmes,
It has to start
I'd be selling
from,
myself.
it always stems from
Okay,
your
turn off
home
his
life.
mic. We're gonna turn off his mic. Okay,
It
we're
always-
turning off Dirty's mic tonight.
It always starts from home. It
Right.
stems from
Right?
home.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
How you were raised.
Right.
You have to. Some of these kids I feel so bad for, because just the way they're dressed.
Yep.
They're not being raised or taken care of the proper way.
Yep.
And it breaks my heart.
Yep.
I mean, I see some of these little kids on the street. You see their parents. Wow,
Uh
you're
huh.
better dressed than your child.
Exactly.
My kids, still to this day, my kids, my grandkids come way before me. If I had last $20, hey mom, I need $20 to get me back and forth to work. Here it is. It all starts from home. I had
Right.
a lovely mother. My mom, my dad passed away when I was only 8. My mom raised 5 kids by herself.
See, now
Just-
that's just
and she taught us, all my brothers, my sisters, we were raised the proper way. Respect, and you get respect back.
Absolutely.
And
But
that's
see, that
how
was
I want my grandkid and my kids to do.
the sad thing is we're living in a totally different time now.
Right.
And it's so sad because we're like the old relics that basically still try to raise our kids the way that we were raised, and
well, I think my generation we were a little more looser
oh
raising
yeah,
our kids
oh yeah, well
than
yeah,
where your guys' generation. Like, I mean, you talk to my 2 older boys, but you guys have all met my older
Right.
boys.
right,
What? You met my older boys.
Right. Then my 2 older boys, they wouldn't think about talking crazy to me because they know what would happen.
right, exactly.
You know?
All they have to say is, Dad,
Right, yeah.
right.
So, I mean, and again, you turn on the TV at night, and what do you have? You have the guy who's in the highest office, the most powerful person in the United States, in the free world,
Right.
fighting with a celebrity.
Yep.
Because she spoke out against them, referencing Donald Trump and Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife. Now, here's my
Wasn't
opinion
that
on this.
crazy?
Now, look, if you were the president of the United States,
Yeah.
you really got time to bitch and moan
Yeah.
about what a celebrity says about you?
Because he cannot take criticism.
that's correct.
He just absolutely cannot take.
Come on.
How
How do you
sad is
How you
that?
got time for that shit?
Well, your boy was actually talking to Anderson Cooper, and I'm talking about your favorite Howard Stern,
Yeah.
and they were actually talking about his conversations with Donald Trump. What was funny was he said, because they've been friends for years,
Yeah.
and he talked about the fact that he puts him on his show because he knows it's a ratings generator.
Well, exactly.
And so he said, Trump got pissed at him because he asked Trump. He said, he asked Howard. He said, would you endorse me?
And Howard told him no.
He sure did. He said, I can't do that. I just cannot do that. He said, this man is very, very thin skinned. But a lot of it comes from, just like we were saying before, how your parents raised you. Apparently, his father was very cold, very domineering, really did not put him first. And so this is the result. So for all you parents listening out there that are working 2 or 3 jobs, thinking that's more important than spending time with your kid, you know what I'm saying? And constantly criticizing your child instead of giving them some type of compliment to let them know, hey, you're doing okay. Things going to be okay. You have to give positive affirmations. That's one thing I love to do when I deliver food. I always try to say something positive to the people there because you never know what somebody's going
That's
through.
right.
That's
But-
what I always say.
Yeah, okay,
You could
Dirty.
be having a horrible day, but your partner next door to you could be having
Right.
one of the worst days.
Like I
Absolutely.
said, you never know. Like, I
Right.
love, like, when I'm at work
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just open the door for somebody
Right.
and they'll just look at me. I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That one kind gesture could be that moment that's going to save that person's life.
Exactly, Dirty.
That's the one,
Yep.
that's the one thing that you never know. Saying that one positive thing to somebody
Exactly.
could change that person from saying, oh, but today's the day I'm going to kill myself. But then you say, hey, how's it going? Just take that
And
extra
there you go.
5 seconds
Exactly.
Just
out.
turns his world around because somebody cares and listening.
Right,
And,
exactly.
and is that not the motto of our show?
well, yeah.
Just take a moment to sit down. Say, hey, how you doing? You know?
I'm burning up.
Well, we're going on 8/12, so I
know,
told you.
we're getting
Yep.
close.
See what I mean? On Wednesdays, same thing in here. Kind of, and then it's actually 3. Well, that's 4 of us in here, but it's usually 3 of you guys in here, right? Yeah, but yeah.
You like how I turned this into a parenting show?
And you know what? We like to thank you for that because that's something good that we needed to talk about. Because I am, first of all, let's talk about all. Oh, we talked about something really good, and we said we're going to talk about it on the show. So it'd
Okay.
be great to get your input on this. So
All
we
right.
were talking about the pedophilia
Oh,
and and the number of teachers, female teachers, that have had relationships with the young students. isn't it amazing that when the young ladies are doing it, when the teachers are doing it, females, they're not calling it pedophilia. But if the kid is 15, 16 years old, by law, isn't that
Listen,
pedophilia?
listen. I had a hot teacher.
Okay, listen to him. So
I'm just saying. I had a hot teacher. I ain't opening my mouth.
okay, we're gonna turn off his mic again. So, question. So, you guys have boys and girls?
One girl.
One girl. Okay. So, this is a great question for you. So, my question to Mr. I want a hot teacher was this. Hey, Dirty. So, what if is it Minnie, the baby? Is that Minnie Dirty?
Oh, a little dirty.
Little Dirty.
Yeah.
That's the Z man.
A little dirty.
Okay. All right. So, he comes to you and say, Dad, guess what? My teacher. What would you say? And what did you say
Yeah,
you would
good
say?
for you, kid.
All right. I said, now, let's take that same scenario. And your daughter comes to you and go, Dad, guess what? My teacher just went.
Yeah, dude's getting his ass kicked and getting turned into police
So what's the difference between a girl and a boy?
because he's a girl.
Does it make a difference?
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
No, you're right. It really it does.
And this is what's wrong with our society.
No,
You see what I'm
I would
saying?
still feel the same.
Thank you.
I would still feel the
Right.
same
And isn't that
way.
the truth, though? Let's be real.
Because I'm not sending my kids to school, and we've talked about this, and I mean, let's talk about that too, because that's a great segue into this. We send our children to these schools, okay,
Right.
to basically be protected. I mean,
Right.
that's our. I mean, let's say it. It's our babysitter for the 8 hours while we're at work.
Mm-hmm.
For the 6.5 hours.
I don't look at them as babysitters.
But I mean, you know what I mean. It's a place where our kids can go that we think our kids are supposed to feel
Safe.
Safe
right?
and get taught.
And get taught.
If you actually go into some of these public schools,
They ain't teaching our kids anything.
it's really
that's-
sad.
And it's sad. I'm going to tell you something. Going back to our grandson. Our grandson went to a public school. And he fought me and Jim every morning. Now, what 9-year-old wakes up every day and says he hates school?
Exactly.
Every day. Every day we got a phone call. Nothing positive from a teacher,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
counselor, principal.
Yep.
He was being bullied.
Yep.
When a principal called me and told me to ask my grandson what happened to him today, I said, as you, a principal, you're supposed to tell me. Oh, no. She says, it broke my heart. You question him. I said, no, I'm going to question you.
It broke her heart.
That's what she said. I was fuming. I was so mad. I called Jim. I said, you better get down to that school, find out what's going
Right.
on. All she
Sickening,
told us
isn't it?
was he is being bullied and one of the kids got expelled. So he's not being, so that one's not here no more. Every day, Dominic came back and told us, I don't want to go to school no more. I hate school.
And we
Finally,
we don't
he
pay
stood up
attention
for
to that.
himself.
Okay.
I kept my emails. I kept what time I called, who I spoke to. Finally, towards the last week of school, he stuck up for himself. 2 girls were bullying him, took his book bags, was pushing him. He decided he's going to push them back. I got a phone call from the principal.
Right.
Now he's in trouble.
Now he's in trouble.
Yep.
He shouldn't hit girls. I said, so girls should hit him and bully him?
Yep.
I said, I'm not correcting him. I took him out of that school. I love the school he's in now. No.
Because he's in a
Good
charter school like your grandson.
Yes, my grandson goes. He's right there off of Filer, and
Well, we're not going to say the
I'm
school.
not going to say
It's
the
just-
school.
It's in
Love
South
it.
City.
Yep, South
Right.
City.
It's in
He
South
goes
City.
to
Wonderful.
this school, goes every day. The teachers are phenomenal.
Right.
Yep.
They praise him. They hug him.
Yep.
They positive everything. And I couldn't ask for a better. He gets up every day.
Right,
Comes
yeah.
home, does his homework.
Yep.
He joins sports. He is like a whole night.
Well,
That's
because I met you guys over to where he's played soccer.
Correct.
Right. And here's
Before.
the thing: you guys responded when your grandson said, I hate school. I'm being bullied." You didn't. There's so many parents that go, "Okay, just handle it the best way you can." Even the little 8-year-old that committed suicide. His
That's
mom
sad.
said,
I
"Yeah."
see that, and
His
that
mom
breaks
said,
my heart.
Yep, she said, I mean, I knew he was, I didn't realize it was that bad because you did not take the time
That's right.
to sit down and talk to your son about what was really going
Now,
on.
see, here, I can look at it in two different ways. No kid should be bullied.
Right.
Okay. I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, me and my friends picking at each other. I mean, that was basically a form of I mean, it was a form of
It's
bullying.
a difference between horseplay and bullying.
Right.
The schools don't like to. They always try to say it's all horseplay,
Right.
and that's bullshit.
But
That's
now
BS.
it's gotten to the point, and I actually worked in the school district
Right.
when it happened
Right.
in April of '99, when 2 young men walked into a school and shot their entire school up
See what I'm saying?
in Columbine.
Yep.
So that completely changed the way teachers looked at things.
Oh yeah.
And the way they looked at students and bullying. And I always told my kids this. I'm like, look, if you get bullied, you first, if it happens on the bus, I go, you go to your bus driver, because then it gets documented, because they have to document. Come home, tell us. Then if it keeps going, then you go to your counselor.
Right.
Talk to your counselor, or talk to your teacher. If it keeps happening, talk to your counselor. If it keeps happening, go to your principal. And if your principal doesn't do anything about it, then you blast the bastard right in the mouth. And then come home, tell me.
And you go to jail.
And then,
you know what I'm saying?
Here's what a lot of parents, and this is what a lot of parents don't realize, because I worked in the school district, so I know how the chain of command goes.
Right.
So, and I'm like, and if they try to expel you, then we're going to be at the school board. Because once it's all documented, the school has to do something about it. And the kid that stands up for themselves
Right.
technically cannot get in trouble at all.
They're not supposed to, but they do.
That's
But
right,
because-
they do.
But
Sure,
here's the
absolutely
thing is,
they do.
Parents don't realize they have one last option,
And
and that's the school board. Because once you go to that school board,
Right.
guess what happens?
with your documentation.
Exactly.
Right.
Because guess what happens? Then they put your kid back in school, and they get rid of the bully.
But here's the thing. Why would you want your kid back in that school?
That's right.
You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
I don't
Because
disagree
apparently
with you.
you've got administrators that don't give a crap
I
about the
don't-
kids
I
being
don't
attacked.
disagree with you,
And
because-
see, that's what we have to wake up and realize. I'm gonna tell you, when I worked for the St. Louis Public Library, was there from 2007 to 14. One of the guys that did the same thing that I did, he retired from the school district. He was a teacher. He was a nasty, evil. I didn't even like the way he communicated with the kids that came in the library. He was just, and if you hear him talk about his time as a teacher, oh, I hate those kids. Okay, you definitely did not need to be a teacher.
Right.
That was not the profession for
Or
you.
is it that we're sending our kids to school? Because I remember when I was in school, you acted out.
All the attention, you got all the attention.
You could get a paddle when I was going to school.
Yep,
'Cause you had
exactly.
to get.
Yep.
I mean, at that time, paddling was starting to go away, so you had to get the parent.
Well, now it's Friday detention.
Right? Yeah. Who cares? You know how many detentions? You know how many,
Seriously?
All they got to do is
Yeah,
watch the Breakfast Club.
yeah. You know how many detentions I got? I didn't
Uh-huh.
give a rat's ass. I still hold a record at Fox High School for the most days spent in in-school suspension.
But bullying should it goes from even adults bully other adults.
Absolutely.
The bullying needs to stop.
Exactly. But when we got somebody in charge at the head that
Right.
bullies everybody, that pisses him off,
Right.
you know?
But you got to be, as a parent, like I said, it always stems from the parents. You've
Right.
got to listen to your children talk. Still to this day, my kids, 30 years old, mom, blah blah blah. Okay, my 23-year-old, drama mama, mom, every day, 7 times at work. I'm at work, mom. I'm okay. My kids will call me 24/7. I'm like, I thought I was off the clock now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's all the time. And I listen to them. I give them advice. I tell them, you can listen to it and you can act upon it, or you can do it the way you want. You're an adult now. But you know what? They listen to us. They'll sit down and talk. They'll be bullheaded. But then they'll say, you're right. You and Dad are exactly right.
And that's the thing, is because I've went through this with all of my kids and all that. And I mean, we'll even go back a little, back almost 8 years ago, I was standing in a bathroom with a handful of pills, and a little 4-year-old thing walked in, said, Dad, what are you doing? That kind of changed the way I thought. And then once that happened, that changed my way of thinking. And then that changed my approach on how I taught my kids and how I raised my kids.
Right.
And saying, look, here's what it is. If you want to be negative constantly, negative shit's going to happen to you. You want to just keep bringing that in, that's what's going to happen. I'm like, but if you change the way you think here, then all of a sudden everything else around you slowly starts to change. And they all, oh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking. you're a moron, you're this, you're that. I'm like, okay. Well, now, since I've been preaching this to my kids for the last 8 years, they're starting to see, they're like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like.
He might have actually been on time, you know.
Like, well, with the bass, for prime
Mhm.
example, he got the job. He's like, oh, I just don't think I'm ever going to get, full time. And I'm like, all you got to do is say you're going to get full time.
Exactly.
I'm like, I mean, yeah, you're not going to get paid a whole lot in the beginning, but it's a union job.
Right.
It's got great benefits.
And he's like, what, 19 years old?
19. I'm like,
No
say you're
kids,
gonna
still at
get it.
home.
And
What are you
just think,
bitching about?
Every day you're going to get it.
Right.
What happens? 6 months later, he gets the full-time job.
Exactly.
And he is the second, because it's union, so he is the second highest porter there.
Right.
And his
Oh,
job
okay.
in just in 6 months. And I was just like, that's all you got to do,
That's right.
you know? And
A lot of it, Dirty, is they see you too. They see you getting out here busting your ass
That's right.
with a full-time job. And then you're in this studio 3 to 4 times out of the week.
All this gray hair I got going.
Oh, Lord. He loves to show this hair off.
It's
Look
all
at
going to
it.
be gone
This is
soon.
what I have to deal
Thank
with every
God.
Tuesday.
It's all going
Okay?
to be gone.
But I tell my kids that all the time. They see that, they see him, they see me. I have a 25-year-old still living at home. But you know what? When he gets his paycheck, he pays his car payment. What he has left, what do? They go out and buy video games or spend hundreds of dollars on Madden. Okay, that's your money. As long as your stuff is paid, hey, you could do it. And they're still. I have a 24-year-old. He's got his own place. Weekends, he crashes at our house.
Right, yeah.
But you know what? We enjoy it. We have a blast. Sometimes they go to wrestling with us. We'll sit around the house and just swim, have a good time. And I enjoy that family stuff. It's memories.
Exactly. And they're still young enough. Mine is 40, thank God. But he's been married, you know, and has his own place. I just started his own personal coaching.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because he's a personal trainer at his little, what is it, Valkyrie Fitness or
Yeah,
something,
well,
you
that's
know?
why we got
Oh,
the kids.
But
seen it.
again, a lot of it is what they see us do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He always saw me have even working full time, always having a home based business, you know?
Right, yeah. So now look what he
growing up.
did.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And
So,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
Right.
say take a picture of your dad because you're not going to see him in a couple of days.
Exactly.
They just look at me like, what, Mom? Take
Right.
a picture.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
I mean,
Right.
and, you
You know,
say
and they see that.
the family time.
Right.
I mean,
The
that's,
family time. Right.
that's one of the reasons
It's
why we
very
got
important.
our camper.
Right.
You know, I mean, we talked about it. Little
Yep.
Dirty hated going. Oh my God, I can't believe we got to go out there again this weekend. It's so stupid. I hate it. Now he's called.
What you
On,
guys
on his
doing?
weekends that we don't. Hey, can I come out? Can we go? Can we go to the camper?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we were this weekend.
See, we have to raising kids. You have to let them be kids and know that they're going to have those retarded moments. Because guess what? We did.
Right. Yeah.
I remember every retarded moment I had as a kid. It's a wonder I'm still breathing. You know, we
had a lot of
that's what really makes you appreciate your parents when
That's
they're
right.
good. Even if they drove you crazy when you were growing up, when you realize that, hey, me and my brothers and sisters, all of us are functional. Nobody's locked up. You know, they've got some health issues, but don't get me started with that because they believe that doctors are gods. So anything that they tell them to do, that's what they do. You know,
I don't know.
Right.
I
I
deal with a
know.
lot of doctors all day. I don't know.
I know, right? But yeah.
there's a
But you
few I'm
know-
like, yeah, you're
Like I
Yeah.
said,
idiots.
it all stems from the home life and how you raise your kids, and then that's how they're going to raise their kids.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like for my birthday, Pebbles
Right.
put on there. You know, I gave you the best gift I could have. You're an empty nester.
That was so cute.
And you saw what I texted back. I'm like, that's like that really wasn't a gift. I said the only thing that I want is what's best for you.
Exactly.
Go out there and experience that stuff. Go and try to feel. I mean, our
Right.
oldest daughter, she went to
Mhm.
Kirksville.
Kirksville.
She worked. She's just like, I can't do it anymore.
Mhm.
I need to come home. She came home for 6 months. You know, was I happy? I was just like, one, she quit her full-time job, and I'm like, wait, you got a job now before you come back? Well, no.
Right.
That's not how this works. You quit your you before you quit your job.
You should have a job like
Make sure you have another job lined up.
Right.
So that's what made me mad. I wasn't mad that she was moving back home.
Sure you were.
No, I wasn't that. It was
Once we get them out, it's like, woohoo! I'm running around the house naked and everything, you know.
Well,
I'll never see that day.
listen,
I know, right?
listen, it
But
don't matter
again,
now
they're
'cause all
25.
out
I
of the
understand.
house.
Right.
And I was laying on the couch, and Miss 30 goes, what happens if the kids come by? I go, them some bitches are out. I'm going to sit here in my underwear.
Oh, you're so bad.
Put my hand
With your hands
my
down
pockets,
pants, right?
playing
Oh my
Madden.
God.
But no, I wasn't mad
I'm
that
not
she was
touching
moving
that.
back home.
Oh,
What I
yeah.
was mad about was that she quit a full-time job,
Right.
came back home, and didn't have a job.
Right.
I mean, she eventually got a job a few months later, or a month later. But I always told him this: look, you're gonna do stuff in your life that's gonna suck. But here's what it is:
Yeah.
those are the life lessons that's gonna punch you in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You got two choices: you can either stay down
There you
and
go.
keep getting kicked
Dust
in the
yourself
mouth,
up.
Yep.
And bring it on up.
or
Absolutely.
you stand up and say, "Hey, right here, world,
Yeah, absolutely.
suck it, tongue my bong hole, whatever it is. I'm gonna keep on moving."
See, this is the kind of stuff that makes me ask people that if you like to be a co-host on One Nation Network TV, you can send your resumes to me at spokenwordpress2010 at gmail.com. It's, you know,
But no, just I mean that's the truth.
right.
I mean, and it's funny because we've talked about this all the time. You can attest to this. We as a society, we still want to see people as a label, as a color, and all this. But the problems is guess what, people? We all have the exact same problems,
Right.
regardless.
Bills, craziness,
regardless.
family,
Right.
job craziness, money issue. You know, everything is the same. But as long as the powers that be know that they can keep us divided over stupid stuff so that they can go ahead. Because right before we came into the studio, because I've been keeping my eye on the whole Iran situation, right? Big situation. Oh, yeah. Do you guys know how close we are to World War III?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And our mainstream media, we're still talking about the Donald. I'm so sick. We know he's an idiot. Let's move on. Can we move on and talk about something?
Did any of us realize that 9/11 is tomorrow?
9/11 is tomorrow.
But yet we were going to have a secret meeting at Camp David with the Taliban?
But you know what? George W. Bush tried to do that too. I think he did, didn't he? He actually had them in there.
I thought it was Obama.
No, it was George W. Right?
I don't know. Look,
yeah.
I mean, look.
I was telling Dirty. I said I was watching. I love Trevor Noah on the Daily Show, right? And he was like, "Can you imagine the Taliban trying to come through security? Sir, your name is Alamaka Salalala. Are you a terrorist? Oh yes, not today though. However, I'm not a terrorist today." It's like, oh my God. Exactly, right. As soon as I get back to my nation.
I'm not here with a suicide vest on today. I'm going to Camp David to meet the president. Come on, man.
Wow.
But look, though. But what is our show about? Our show is about unity, bringing the people together.
Having that conversation.
Right, exactly.
Cost
Do
you
we
nothing.
have to agree with them having that conversation? No.
Right.
But if it will help,
yes.
I mean, look. Listen, I'm not saying that the Muslim religion is the right religion or whatever, but when you're literally beating women.
Okay, we're not going to talk about people's religion on this show. I'm getting ready to shut you down right now. Okay, no. Let's just say this. Okay, here's what I like about having this conversation. One thing that you just said. We're different because if you think about it, we're at different stages of our lives.
Right, exactly.
So what you guys are going through with the one still home, I've been there. My son finally moved out, when he got married and then the marriage, right. But different stages, you know what I'm saying? So what might work for you today
might not work
10 years. Exactly. Right.
Exactly.
But I'm like you. When we start off with the simple things, just the basic, treat people like you want to be treated. I mean, you can't get any simpler than that.
Right.
Now, if you like being treated like an asshole, then
treat you like an asshole.
Absolutely.
Well,
and you can't complain,
I know you've had the conversations with your grandsons.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the conversations with Little Dirty. Sure, you guys have had it with Dominic. Isn't it amazing the way that they think? Like, we could probably put those three boys in a room. And here's
that don't know each other.
Don't know each other. But I mean, Little Dirty might be a little standoffish because he's a little shy at first when he meets people.
He says that all the time. He picked me up with Little Dirty in the car.
With adults, it's different.
Oh yeah,
Kids, it's
because
different.
he's just like his daddy. He kept talking. But but very intelligent little boy. And I told him, I said, there is nothing. He is not shy at all.
Kids
That's
are,
you know,
Dominic. I tell
right.
you what. He
well, you
sat
see
there,
it.
told me and Jim all about the solar system. I'm like,
Right.
Exactly.
he knew more than I did.
Right, but you see, I mean, our Dominic and Little
Right.
Dirty has sat
Right.
at
Right.
the tables, and they don't see each other for being
They don't.
something different.
Not at
Right.
all.
They see them as a person and
That's
as a
right.
kid.
That has
That's
the
right.
same interest that I do.
Right.
So we're going to sit over
That's
here
right.
while those
Right.
idiots are out there wrestling. We're going to sit up here
Yeah,
and play
we're
our
gonna
video
sit here. We're
games.
gonna play these video games.
You
We're
know.
gonna do this.
It's only, and we've said this before on this show, because like I said, I went to Maplewood High School. Hey, my Blue Devils out there. And we all hung out. You know, this was the 70s, free love, you know. We all, I mean, from I would say 7th grade, because back then it was called junior high, 7th
Right.
grade all the way up to our senior year. We were a very, very tight unit.
Yeah,
It wasn't until, you grow up, you enjoy, experience life, you do the whole job thing. We all got together for our 40th class reunion a couple years ago. I only went because my girlfriend wanted to go and she was sick and she passed away. But seeing all these people, but they had changed. Their thought patterns had changed. They were more conservative. We all grew up in a very liberal type. I mean, because I had the first little guy that used to come hang out in front of my house at 15, 16-year-olds was a white guy that I actually went to kindergarten with. My
Right,
parents knew him, and it was no
Well,
problem.
that's like Jim. His group, there's like maybe 8 of them. About 8 of them, they get together 3 times a year. We go camping. We
From
do
high
fun.
school?
Right.
Right.
We do. And then I became friends with the girls that he hung out with in high school. When we go out, do things together.
Mhm.
So it's nice. It's just nice.
yeah,
Mhm.
but it's funny because, like you said, as we get to be adults,
That's when we start changing and
then
start having
that's
these
when we
weird.
start imprinting that on our children.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it just be much more simpler? And I've talked about this, and I've said it before, that all we really have to do is just sit and listen to our kids,
That's right.
and maybe they're the ones that actually know
Exactly.
how it really should be. Because I mean, Little Dirty said it, and I'm sure Dominic has said it, and I'm sure Damien has said it to you, that doesn't matter what you are. If one person hears one person laugh, then that other person's gonna laugh. Because it doesn't matter if you're Asian, white, yellow,
Right.
green, blue, white. If one person yawns, everybody else around them is gonna yawn.
Exactly.
That's right.
He goes, a baby doesn't matter their skin color. You
Right.
can put them in a nursery. One baby cries,
They're all gonna cry.
they're all gonna cry.
Exactly.
But yet, where do we? And again, it gets back to when we get out of school, we get into real life.
Yeah.
When real life smacks us in the
Yeah.
face.
And then we're competing against each other for jobs,
Right.
promotions,
And that's what I told my kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, right now, that's the best. That's it. So take what you learn now
Mhm.
and apply that as you get
That's
older.
right. Move
Yep.
it forward.
Because when
Yeah,
you get older,
exactly.
life is going to punch you in the face and you're going to see a different reality. But if you keep the way you think now
Right.
and you just keep spreading that on to somebody differently,
Mhm.
and you maybe influence one other person. Linda, I mean, you've seen it. We've had people go, hey, man, you guys have really made me change the way I've thought
Exactly.
on things.
Right. Oh,
So that's what it's about.
yeah. Again, just having that conversation,
Right.
Is it difficult? Sure.
Oh, it sucks.
You
We
know?
should have a show one night. Just bring the 3 kids on and see what you can get out of them. It'd be amazing what you could probably learn from them. Like I said, I learn every day from Dominic.
Oh,
Something new-
absolutely.
Something
Absolutely.
new I didn't know about.
Well, my grandson loves to. He's got so much of me and my father in me. He's running
Go
with a
ahead. Is there another-
newspaper. He still likes to read newspaper. Grammy, look at this. Look at this. He hated. Who was that guy that he hated from Missouri? The Eric was it Greitner?
Greitens.
Oh my God! When that came out, Grammy, look at this. Did you see it in the paper? I'm like, oh my God, your grandfather would
Well,
be. Great grandfather would be so proud.
It's funny that she says that because that was one of the reasons why we kind of started One Nation Network.
Right.
Was to get the kids. We had the girls
Yep.
that used to come up
Yep.
and do the show, but as they got older, they started to change,
Well, yeah,
and
you
now they
start
got
doing,
full-time jobs and all that. That
Yep.
would be interesting, having the boys come up and getting their perspective on life.
Yeah, we'd have to have some specific questions for them.
Yeah.
That's something we could think about.
It'd be amazing what
Right.
you, as an adult, can learn from them. Because
Absolutely.
I'll sit back and think, wow, how did he know that? And I didn't know that.
Because it would be funny to see, because when we did it with the girls, when we did the Sun and Moon show,
Right.
I mean, Princess, she's blonde haired, blue eyes. She's the typical white devil. Her little best friend.
But look at his nickname for her. I mean, does that show you who his favorite is? The princess. Seriously?
I have a granddaughter. She'll tell you she's the princess.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
And then her best friend is
Mexican,
half,
right?
Half Mexican, half black.
Right. Oh, I didn't know she was.
Yeah.
Very attractive.
And
Right.
they literally had those conversations as
Right.
two little girls had those conversations, and they got a lot of good responses for it.
We actually talked about at one point, because of the success of the Sun and Moon show,
Right.
trying to, especially when we were talking to Wesley Bell,
Yeah.
reaching out to some of these schools, because to me, I don't think they take that bullying problem seriously at
They
all.
don't.
They really don't. So how do we address that? Because anytime you have a 5 and 6 and 7-year-old committing suicide
That's
because
sad.
they're being bullied
Well,
at school,
We looked up that stat.
yeah,
And
it's even more.
Just in the last 10
The
years,
public schools just had something the other night about bullying.
right?
Yeah.
Just in the last 10 years, the spike in young kids, and then we were really shocked with
Yep.
the young
African American kids.
Right.
has
'Cause,
spiked in the last 10 years like 200.
Because I don't know if you guys are aware, we had this conversation when was it Kevin that was
Yeah.
here? Suicide
Oh,
in our
suicide,
community
yes.
is a big no-no.
No.
Right. If you grew up in the Catholic Church, I'm sure you're aware of that.
Right. But we
You
didn't
know?
realize it because
Right.
then we started researching it.
Right.
And suicide in the black community is
Has
just
risen.
as
Yeah.
Right.
prevalent in. Is that the right word?
Oh
Is that the
yeah,
right word?
absolutely. But
Prevalent in the white community.
but then look at what they're dealing with. We're almost dealing with a Jim Crow law system
Right.
that I've never even experienced, and I'm 61 years of age. What are you doing over here?
Well, now,
Excuse me?
I want to go back to.
Why do I
Kevin.
have to tell you what I'm doing over
Oh,
here?
yeah.
I'm a grown ass woman. I can drive. Why do I need your permission to be in this neighborhood? Well, what are you doing over here? See, this is why the whole Black Lives Matter thing had to happen, because you even have star athletes, black star athletes that have went through this. What are you doing in this neighborhood? Have you ever been asked that by a cop?
Several.
You've been asked to several. Were you in a black neighborhood, predominantly drug infested?
It's usually.
So they know why you. So why do you think they asked you that?
It's usually when I'm in a black neighborhood.
Absolutely,
What are you
because
doing over here?
why? Because they think
I'm
you're.
like,
Why do you
why does
think?
it-
My kids, 4 blocks over, got pulled over by the cops, and they said, "Do you know you're not in the right part of the neighborhood?" Kids go, "I live 4 blocks away. This is the way we come home."
Do you know you're in the wrong part of the neighborhood because they were white?
Right.
And basically the area you live in is extremely diverse.
Oh,
It's a
very.
little bit of everything over there.
Oh God, yeah.
And
You
they
know what
live
I'm
right
saying?
by they live close to where I used to live when I was a kid.
Okay. Yeah. And that's so sad because South City is so nice. I mean, I tell people all the time now, I'm going to be honest with you, growing up in St. Louis, we knew when I never even went south of Highway 40 until I started selling real estate in 1995, 96, because we knew that place was totally off limits. Back then, you actually had people that were on the bus going on Hampton to get jobs, and they're throwing things at them and calling them all kinds. This was like 1995. You were in trouble, absolutely. And don't even go to St. Louis Hills.
You yell at me all the time. She yelled at me
Right,
because
don't
of
go
where
to
I
St.
work at.
And this idiot,
So I'm sitting over on
Listen to
North
this.
Kings Highway at the White Castle right there.
North Kings Highway and Delmar.
I know exactly where that is.
Okay.
So I'm like,
I know you're in the drive-through, right? I'll let you
so
continue.
I'm sitting. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit in my work van and eat. I'm going inside the restaurant to eat. Now, I go in.
How many people in there, Dirty?
Me, me.
Because everybody else know. Don't go in there.
Everybody else
Take your
is
ass through the drive-through.
They're all black. Walk up. Like, how are you guys today? Lady looked at me kind of funny at first. She kind of looked at me kind of funny first, and I was like, how are you today, ma'am? And she's like, oh, I was like, can I have a number one? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, thank you very much. You have a good day. So I get my food. I'm starting eating. These two dudes come walking in. I'm sitting right by the door. They walk in. I'm eating my cheeseburger, looking at my phone, and I see the door, and they walk in. I was like, I just kind of give my head nod, and they were like, walk up to
So you give them
counter.
the heads up now. They give you the
Yeah.
what you doing up here?
They were like,
right.
And then, and then the one's like, one said, he said, hey, how you doing? I was like, hey, how you, hey, what's up? He's like, what's up? Like, looking at me. She yells at me. She goes, what the hell are you doing going in there and eating? She goes, do you know them to do something? I'm like, but if I'm scared of where I'm at.
See, again.
Yeah.
Right. Right. How many times do you go inside those restaurants to eat in a very, very dangerous neighborhood? See, this is why they feature you guys in scary movies. The second ones to get killed because we're always the first ones.
Right,
but there, okay, so when Dirty tells me this, I said, dude, okay, look. I said, I used to I've lived in the North City area. I said, one day, I think I was working at TWA, so I got off at midnight, 3:30 to midnight. Went to the Kings Highway right there to the White Castles at Kings Highway and Hebert by the Page. Convenient. Okay. Little girlfriend who has sense never goes inside. If the drive-through is closed, I'm going someplace else. Okay, I am not taking myself inside there. I know what type of neighborhood this is. I get my food, go home. I just make it in the door. You know how you sit down, take your shoes off, open your bag, turn your TV on, sit down and start eating. We just had breaking news report. They just had a mass shooting at the White Castles on Hebert. And I'm like, see what I mean?
Well, okay. Right here on South Grand. Right there
Okay.
where the old National used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There
Right.
used to be that Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandparents used to live right over off Humphrey.
Okay.
In Grand.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the ex-wife, we go there, we get food. Literally, we pull out.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happens?
What
The car
happens?
right behind us.
Robbed
the
it.
person in the
Yeah.
drive-thru. It
Exactly.
don't matter. It's going to happen anywhere.
That's right.
Don't
It
matter.
sure is. They drive right down our street. And
Isn't that sad?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Hell no. Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
your thing to her was okay. Either you leave him or let him beat you to fucking death. Don't call me anymore. Seriously, we make excuses for people that put themselves in the craziest situations, and then when they call for help, then you put me in a crazy situation. You know what I'm saying? No. Oh no, oh no.
Well, you know the McDonald's that used to be right there at Grand and Chippewa.
Right,
I used to work there.
I worked
right,
there.
okay,
Did you?
yeah,
I worked there.
yeah,
When they had the basement.
It was still there.
okay,
Well, it's
Still
not
there.
McDonald's no more.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. But the Proctors own it.
I worked for them too.
Yeah, that's who owned it. They owned the one on
Right.
Broadway too that they
They-
got rid of because
oh,
they were always getting prostitution in the bathroom.
Bayless, Hampton,
Yep.
and Chippewa,
Yep.
Kings Highway.
I worked at the Kings Highway, so I'm sitting
Hey,
right there.
I worked there too.
I was sitting right
I might
there.
have been your manager.
right,
I'm sitting right there, and I'll never forget this day. Hot as hell. I was the only guy on the front line because I was faster than half the girls, and I could handle half the orders, and I was always the food runner register. I'll never forget it. There was a mom with her two kids,
okay,
black lady with her two kids,
okay,
young, probably like 3 and 4 years old. And there was a dude standing behind them with a trench coat on. I'll never forget this. And I'm just standing there going, like, something's not
Right.
adding up.
Mhm.
And this was right from our lunch shift to our dinner shift. So
Okay.
we're doing drawer change. So you always remember the very last drawer was where we kept all the money. So Roy was the manager at the time. So we had about $50 in each drawer. We're standing up, I'm like, this does not, just something doesn't move.
Mhm.
So I take the lady's order. She goes, the food. Next thing I know, dude just raises up his gun and sets it right here.
In your
He goes,
face?
give me all the money. And I step back and I go, wait a second, dude. And I touch the gun. He's like, don't touch my effing gun. By that time, all the girls had run.
I don't blame him.
And he goes, you touch my gun again, I'm going to blow your head off. I look at him, and I do this. I go, well, that'd be kind of dumb because you ain't going to get any of the money. Now, all you had to do was hit one button and the drawer would automatically open.
Right.
So I was just hitting a bunch of different buttons. So, what I mean...
Did y'all have a button to call the police?
No.
No, at the time they didn't have the emergency
but
buttons.
after this, that's when they put it in.
That's when they put them in.
Now, I ain't going to lie to you. I shit my pants.
Oh, I know.
I shit my pants.
Yeah.
I ain't lying.
Right.
I did little duty in the pants because it was kind of scary.
TMI.
So I'm literally, and I'm waiting because I'm like, okay, all I know is the girl's got to get downstairs and kick the door. Like everybody else, they're all ducked down. This dude's yelling at me. I'm like, dude, chill out. I'm like, there's nobody up here, just me, dude. I'm going to get you the money.
Right.
And I knew I was getting to the last door. And I'm like, and all I could think it was, please kick that door. Please kick that door.
So you're trying to protect this business and not give this guy money with a gun in your face. I would have ran down to that. Like, come here, boo. Here it is.
I got stuck because everybody else ran.
Well, I was working, and the kid in the drive-thru, he was a young kid. They came through our drive-thru
Yeah.
at Hampton and Chippewa
Yeah.
with the gun and told him to give him his money.
Was
I
that the
called,
Jack in the Box?
No, it was McDonald's. It
Oh,
was
okay.
McDonald's.
Oh,
I
right.
called-
Hampton and Chippewa.
I called Jim and I said, he goes, call 911. Don't call me.
Did you give him the money?
No, the kid didn't give him the money because the cars behind him scared him because they were holding up to
Oh,
him.
okay.
But the kid described him, and the cop said 10 to 1, they'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So my question to you, since this happened to you, we know you were trying to protect the business and not give them the money.
There was
Okay.
nobody
giving
else
them money.
there.
Thank you.
No,
so
I
my
was
question.
giving him the money.
Okay.
I was giving him the money, but by the time I
Right.
got to the last door, they kicked the door open.
Okay.
He took off.
Right.
Here's the kicker of it. So I go outside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shaking to death. I mean, I'm probably 16, 17. I'm just out there. I'm smoking. And Roy comes out to me. He's like, hey, whenever you're ready, you can come back in to come back to work.
I'm going home.
I looked at this dude. I said, I said, no, I'm going home.
Right.
I was like, I already called my dad.
Right.
I'm going home.
And see
He's
that.
like, if you go home, you're fired.
Are you
I'm like,
serious?
that's fine.
Right.
Fire me.
And this is why I'm so glad I'm retired. Number one, they don't care about you.
Well,
It's all about the money.
It gets better because
Are you
here's the thing
serious?
with the proctors, because they actually care about their employees. Well, when you save them money, they do, because they ended up catching the guy down at the Bevo Mill,
Okay.
and they brought him back in for me to identify. Him.
Right.
I'm like, yep, that's
Yep.
him.
Yep.
And when he walked in, I'm like, oh my god, I mean,
Right.
he's handcuffed with the cops. I'm still shaking.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, that's him.
Yep.
They're like, okay, they took him. So I go in to turn my uniforms in because
Right. I'm not right.
Roy
I'm
said I was
out.
fired.
Exactly.
Mr. Proctor was there. The dad was there.
Did
I
you
was
know
like-
he played for the Browns?
Yeah. I go, here's
St.
my
Louis Browns.
uniform. I'm like, I'm here to pick up my check. He's like, what do you mean you're here to pick up your check? I'm like, well, Roy told me I was fired because I didn't come back in to work after the robbery. He goes, no, you ain't.
Right.
He goes, here's what I'm going to do. He goes, I'm going to pay you those extra days that
Mhm.
you that you were supposed to be on this schedule, and then I'm going to give you a 2-week vacation
There you go.
that I'm going to pay you for.
Right. And he should have got rid of Roy.
But well, they did after
Right.
that. But you want to know what happened? It didn't dawn on me. I'm like, oh, cool. Well, here's what I didn't realize is I could have sued them for emotional distress.
Yeah.
That's why he gave me all that.
But I really wouldn't have sued the company because I mean they were a victim too.
Well,
I mean,
I know, but
you know
that's
what
why.
I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I really,
Oh yeah.
but I didn't know that until I was younger.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
So-
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right. What else?
I mean, I think he did really
No, I
the
mean,
right
yeah.
thing. Exactly. I've never worked fast food.
It's a hard job.
it is. It really
It,
is.
it takes a toll on you.
So my question to you is this, because this is a.
No, they still don't deserve $15 an hour.
Do you think they deserve $15 an hour?
No.
Working at fast food restaurants, and I'm not talking about the kids. I'm talking about the ones. This is the only job they can have that they can find to feed their family, pay their bills.
I feel that they shouldn't be offered $15 an hour. Fast food workers don't get offered benefits.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Right.
No benefits, even if you're
No
full time.
benefits, even if you're full time. I feel they should be offered maybe 11, no 12, with benefits.
I can't believe no benefits.
No benefits.
That's why you go work at White Castle. They're the only one.
That's right. And they're the only ones that give you a bonus.
Yep.
And let me tell you how they're pricing, because I had a cousin that worked at White Castle back in, let's see,
The
before
prices, woo,
before
yeah.
Nikki was born, who
Yeah.
actually called in on our show. She
Yeah.
did that thing. She was making $14 an hour back in 1980.
Well, White Castle pays their employees good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White Castle starts them out at White
Now
Castle.
they're back at $9 an hour. They're down to not.
Depends on the White Castle.
Remind me to show you
Depends
the
on
one
your
over there
shift.
by my house.
It depends on
Okay.
the shift you work.
Right.
Okay.
I think it goes shift differentials when
Right.
you work certain shifts. But McDonald's don't do the shift
Nope.
differentials. Jack in the Box don't
Nope.
do the shift differentials. I feel if they offer them no more than 12, offer them health insurance.
Exactly.
But let them work their way
Up
up
to 15.
to earn that 15. If you start them at $15 an hour, they're there just for the paycheck and treating your customers.
Can I
So-
tell you something? $15 an hour is still not a lot of money.
it's not.
I'm gonna be real honest with you.
It's not.
You
even,
know,
listen, even at even what they're making now, they still treat you like crap.
they
Right.
you know what? Because they absolutely hate the Dashers. They hate us. We don't know why.
I feel if they make certain amounts, offer them benefits
Oh yeah,
and
I had no clue.
let them work their way up. And
When they
you
get
work your way up, you can be something. You can make decent money
And
as
that,
a general manager.
Exactly.
you can.
oh yeah, because
You
my
can
girlfriend,
make your-
who my girlfriend that passed, her daughter, and she was, not the brightest tool in the,
But
but-
it takes a toll on your body.
But guess what? She actually started at Lion's Choice, still there, and became a manager,
right. I mean,
Okay.
like I said, I worked my
making
way up.
$30,000 a year.
Yeah, and like I said, you work your way up, you can
Yeah.
make the money, but it's not. I'm going to tell you what I tell my kids now. I told my younger ones when they started out working fast food, it's not an easy job.
Okay.
You know what? When I come home and I say I'm tired, I was on my feet 8 hours, 9 hours, and that other manager didn't show up for their shift.
Right.
You had to pull that shift.
Yep.
And I gave up a lot just to pull that shift because I couldn't leave. It takes a toll on your body.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Wow.
It's not an easy job because if you're not used to being on your feet
Right.
and you're on the heavy side,
Yeah.
your feet are going to hurt.
Wow. Well, maybe that's what I'm dealing with, because when I go, especially, all right, I'm gonna have to talk about your Burger King. My Burger King. Oh my
I
God.
ain't eat Burger King for a while.
I know, right?
I ate Burger King the other day and got sick as a dog.
Did you get the Impossible Whopper?
No.
I don't even
No.
sound good.
I ain't eat any of that shit.
But the staff,
They're
their
idiots.
attitudes,
Idiots.
and it's like, baby, don't be mad. There's a Steak and Shake right over there by my house. The manager, I had to talk to her one day because I was having some issues. And to this day, I was in there picking up an order the other day. She rolls her eyes at me. And it's like, boo boo, don't be mad at me because you are severely ugly. She's really ugly. You know? And every time I come in, she just kind of gives me that, here she comes again. And that of course makes me put my big smile on.
Right, exactly.
Hi, sweetie, how you doing?
And with
But-
that being said, Dirty is sweating. You can see it. through
Before
my
we do
shirt.
that, let's talk about our sponsors.
That's what I was
Before
getting ready to do.
He always likes to slap my wrist. Go ahead, babe. Go ahead. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
This is my birthday.
Woohoo! It's your
So you get to
birthday.
celebrate the whole month?
That's right.
Well, then wait till Saturday.
Next week, no, 2 weeks, we will be off the air.
Yes.
I will be gone.
Yes.
You might be off there.
He's going to be
That's true.
joining the Hurricane Gabrielle
Oh,
in
stop it. Stop it.
on his
With that
cruise
being
ship.
swed, my big
On
fat
that being
sweaty ass. Hey, go check out all of
Uh-huh.
our sponsors to see this show and all of our other shows. You go to OneNationNetworkTV.com. You can find the DCS show, which airs on Monday nights. You can find this show, One Nation Network TV, which airs on Tuesday nights. You can find the XFL STL Battle Talk live show, which airs tomorrow
At what time?
6:30. Because now it's starting to get more and more. And immediately following that is the MMWA Wrestling Show with me, Jim Harris, and Dr. Drew. And the Battlehawks Live, it's me and the A-Train, Arlington Lane. You can find those all on One Nation Network TV. Also, One Nation Network TV has a best-selling author. She's sitting right over. Oh, this way. She's sitting right there. Right there.
Now he's
Right there.
poking me in the eye.
The one, the only, Linda Brown. Go check it out. Go get all of her books, especially with, pot stocks.
Right.
Medical marijuana being legalized in 2020, January 1st, 2020.
Right.
Go get the book. She's actually writing a second version of the book, adding new stocks to it. So go get that right there. It'll help you, make you some money.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
If you want to get a copy of my book from my interview that I did last Saturday,
That's right.
go to onenationnetworktv.com and click on the Sunday Brunch Show. That'll get you right to our products.
Right.
If you purchase the book paperback there on the website, you'll get an autographed copy plus a free copy of Volume 2 when it comes out in October.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why
What?
give something away free?
That's how you build up your business.
Huh?
That's how you build your business, boo.
I would
That's
never
how you
give them
build
anything
trade.
free.
That's how
Make
you
them
build
pay
your-
for it.
That's how you
Right.
build your business.
That's why I'm just the mouth and you're the business one.
And that's why I'm teaching you, grasshopper.
And hey, listen, you like jewelry?
Yeah,
You do?
I love this dog tag I got from
That's what you were supposed to take over on.
from Kylie, Unicorn Pearls by Kylie. Oh my God, I do. Dirty, did I ever show you my?
You did. You showed
Oh,
me the
I think
dog
we
tag.
did show it,
You
right?
did show it.
With the pearls. So, and also, Miss Ellie over here, you want to show us your earrings you got from Kylie's Pearls?
Right there, the earrings.
Uniques, exactly. See the little pearl in there?
Yeah.
Totally. So, if you're interested in having a jewelry party,
That's up
Or
to 2
you-
hours. She will travel 2 hours
she will
away.
travel up to 2 hours. She can also do a watch party on Facebook
That is true.
for you. Okay, so just look her up on Facebook under Unicorn
Unicorn
Pearls
Pearls
with
with
Kylie.
What's your other favorite
my
plug?
other favorite
Ugh.
is.
Hi, Casey with 3 Ys on Twitch. Go check him out for all your streaming needs.
So if you have young kids that you heard us talking about
He's an
video
idiot.
games today.
He's an idiot.
No, he's not. Always go there to what?
Hi, Casey with 3 Ys on Twitch.
Is it
Live.
twitch.com?
Hi, Casey with 3 Ys live on Twitch.
That's what you get for trying to mess him up. Okay, make sure your
Go
kids
check it
are
out.
watching him on Twitch. That way you don't have to worry about any pedophiles trying to,
He's
contact
definitely
your
not going to
kids.
diddle any kids.
He's not going to diddle any kids. All right, any last words on your end,
We
Miss
still got
Ellie?
2 more plugs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, boo.
I camping. I went camping this weekend,
Okay.
and I did some barbecuing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And what did you use?
Well, it's the end of the year.
yes, it is.
I had to barbecue.
Right.
And
Did
I
you
had to
barbecue
use some
for
of my groceries.
Labor Day?
I did.
Okay.
And I had we were in Chicago for Labor Day.
Oh, that's right.
I barbecued this weekend, and the
Gotcha.
back of my pants are like sopping wet. You are going to freeze on the way home. By the way, just gonna let you know,
Okay.
you are going to freeze.
Okay.
But I went to grocerybags.com with a Z to get all your natural spices and everything. Everything is natural. They got some of this, some of that. What's the other one?
We've got the
Your favorite one.
My favorite one is it's so hot, fiery. I can't even think of the name of it, but
I
go
know.
to grocery bags with a Z,
with the Z.
BAGZ.com.
Right? And you
All
got
right.
Joni's Pizza.
Joni's.
804 Russell, go check them out. While I'm going on vacation, Drew and Jim will be are possibly going to be doing their show from Joni's Pizza on that
I'm gonna
Wednesday.
join.
All
They will be
right.
there doing the show live from Joni's Pizza.
Cool.
And also this Saturday, the St. Louis Wrestling Independent Hall of Fame at South Broadway Athletic Club, the beautiful, historic South Broadway.
And
Athletic
actually, for this particular session, you guys are actually inducting people into the Hall of Fame.
There's a lot of names I'm not going to mention.
Okay, great.
Too many names to mention. Do you know some of them? Danny Boy. I know
Danny
Debbie
Boy,
Combs,
Keith Smith,
Keith Smith, Cowboy or
Bob
Bob
Orton
Orton Senior
Senior.
will be inducted.
Okay.
And be looking because I think there's going to be a special Giant Assassin, Big Daddy. There's going to be a special interview. I want to say Friday. We don't know yet. It's still up in the air with Debbie
with
Combs.
a special rep.
Right, yeah. So go check out this Saturday at South Broadway Athletic Club's seats and tables are sewing up fast. Go there, check them out to get all of your tables and stuff. Did I miss anybody?
I think we got everybody.
I did, didn't I?
Yep, we did.
I seriously am.
You
pouring
nailed it,
sweat.
birthday boy.
I
Woohoo!
guarantee if I get up, the back of my pants will be saturated.
It's gonna look like you kind of wet yourself.
Looks like I peed myself.
Looks like he peed his pants. He peed his pants for his birthday.
This is
Well, you know you're getting older.
This is One Nation Network TV. I am Dirty. Sitting right over there next to me is the one, the only, the best-selling author of One Nation Network TV and One Universal.
Linda
Production.
B.
And sitting right there is the commission's wife, Mrs. Ellie. Thank you for joining us. See, I'm really not that bad of a person, am I? You have to admit it.
Oh,
know
I'm
you-
not going to admit nothing.
You hate it. She hates it, and I
Love it.
We will see you guys next week.
Right. All right, so we're out.